Hi, John Chapin with your latest sales tip, and this tip involves one of the most talked about subjects in sales: price. Salespeople constantly argue back and forth about how important price is when making a sale, with a lot of salespeople actually saying that price is the most important consideration when selling. I'm here to tell you that's just not true. And if you are someone who believes that price is the most important factor in a sale, I have a question for you. Well, actually, I have several questions. First, do you eat the cheapest food? Next, do you wear the cheapest clothes? Do you drive the cheapest vehicle? And do you live in the cheapest house? If you do, you might be 22 years old, you're right out of school, you're just scraping by, you have no money, and you have no choice. Either that or you are cheap and you might be a true low price shopper. By the way, if that last case scenario is the case, you should go sell the cheapest product in your industry, because the first sale is to yourself. And if you can't sell yourself on paying more for what you have, you won't be able to sell anybody else either. But if you don't eat, wear, drive, live the cheapest, why don't you? Simple. In any area where you don't simply buy the cheapest, you see the value in paying more. So if people saw more value in your product and you and your company, they'd be willing to pay more for what you sell. But why do people focus on price during the sales process? Well, first, price is the one thing on the proposal that's in English. Your prospect doesn't work in your industry day in, day out. They don't understand the subtleties. They don't know the true differences in the value, the features, the functions, the other variables between products, companies, sales reps. No matter how much research they've done on the internet, they simply don't know all of it. Second, most of us have been conditioned since we were young to ask for a better price, because we know that salespeople almost always will budge on price at least a little. As a result, in order to maximize the price drop, the average prospect will tell a salesperson they're strictly price shoppers, they can get it cheaper down the street, and if the salesperson wants the business, they're going to have to cut their price. The reality is, people do know that you do get what you pay for, and they realize that products, companies, and sales reps are different. But when price is brought up or they bring it up, what does the average sales rep do? They immediately cut price. And that leaves the prospect thinking, well, wait, maybe there is no difference other than price. I mean, if there was, why wouldn't the salesperson tell me why theirs is more than the competition's? Doesn't make sense. Instead, they're just cutting price. I'll tell you why. The reason is the average salesperson's lazy. It takes work to learn and figure out the differences between what you offer and what the competition offers. It takes work to calculate the potential value and put that into a form that the average prospect will understand and resonate with. And it takes work to find out what's important to each individual prospect, determine whether or not your product is right for them, and then if it is, articulate value in a compelling way. And then finally, it takes work to learn how to effectively handle the price objection, how to commit the proper responses to memory through role playing and repetition. The majority of salespeople, they don't want to do that hard work. It's simply easier to cut price versus doing the work. But that work is what a salesperson gets paid for. Look, if we can sell on price, then we don't need to pay a salesperson. We just need to find somebody who takes orders. And we can pay a lot less in the marketplace for order takers versus salespeople. The prospect would come in your place of business, tell you what they want, tell you what they want to pay, and you'd say, okay, and you give them that, and you take their money and send them on their way. That's selling on price. That's an order taker. A salesperson, on the other hand, they're able to articulate the extra value and get the extra money, so they get paid more than the order taker. Look, if you have two different brands of product, there are differences between them, which equal difference of value and price. Less price equals less service, less product, and more headaches. There's a long-term cost to a lower upfront price. Even if you have the same exact product, but it's being sold by two different companies, you have a difference of value between the companies and the individual sales reps. In either of the above scenarios, as a salesperson, you've got to do the work so you know the differences, can articulate those differences based upon what's important to the prospect, and then collect the extra money. That said, is price a factor? Yes. Is it the biggest factor? Well, study after study shows only about 7% of the population truly buys on price. 93% of the time when you have a price issue, it's because your product costs more and you didn't show the added value that was equal to or more than the additional investment. Your job as an expert is to educate the prospect, bring them up to speed, and show them why yours is more. Don't come from a position of weakness and go straight to cutting price. Come from a position of strength and build value. Become an expert at building value. That's why you, why your company, why your product. And you have to believe in all of those. Again, the first sale's to you. So if you do all that work I talked about, 7% of the people may still stick to price. In that case, do your best to overcome that objection and then let them go. Just move on. You don't want to deal with true price shoppers. They're never satisfied. They'll call you and email you at all times of the day and night, on weekends, during holidays, and your response will never be quick enough. It'll never be good enough. They will show you no appreciation. They have zero loyalty. Even if they've been dealing with you for years, as soon as someone beats you on price, they'll be gone. On the other hand, the people who buy value are the exact opposite of that. They're loyal and they're a pleasure to deal with. So while maybe some work up front to identify and articulate your value, your life will be much more pleasant and you'll be much more successful in sales if you do that work. Thanks for watching the video. For more information, go to CompleteSelling.com. And if you like this video, do me a favor, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next video.